Wow, baby girl, you are super worked up if this is the kind of comment you left on a video where I simply said that I don't hit my children and that it's possible to raise kids without violating their bodily autonomy. You sound a little bit unhinged and a lot ignorant, but you're giving me a great opportunity here to discuss the reality that you don't need to victimize your children. You don't need to strike them. You don't need to coerce them. You don't need to manipulate them to raise functional, well-adjusted adults. Did you know that it's the folks who were physically assaulted as kids? It's the folks who did get spanked, who did get hit, who did get beaten with belts and rods and implements. Those are the folks who go on to commit violent crimes. There was a study a while back looking at folks incarcerated in the New York prison system, and greater than 95% of them had been spanked as children. People who were conditioned in childhood that the way you deal with dysregulated feelings, that when you're angry, when you're frustrated, when someone doesn't do something that you want, when you're sad, when you're anxious, when you're afraid, that what you do is you lash out against somebody else, you hurt somebody else's body. Folks who had that modeled to them on their very own bodies in childhood, those are the people that go on to become violent offenders. Folks who were taught how to regulate their emotions and to solve their problems with words instead of fists, yeah, those aren't the people that go on to commit violent crimes. And let's be real clear here, baby girl, that non-authoritarian parenting is not permissive parenting. It's not neglectful parenting. My kids don't run my house. We all live in this house together and we work together as a family. The fact that you so desperately need to create an artificial power dynamic, that you need to have authority figure and those who submit, that you need to have oppressor and oppressed is very telling about you, but it's not how families have to be run. It's not how healthy families run. I know you're so deeply concerned about how my kids are going to turn out. Guess what? They're all over 13 already. 2 are adults and they're doing great. But obviously, if you think that children need to be beaten in order to prevent them from turning into violent criminals, if you don't punish your kids, how will they learn not to engage in unsafe behavior? So this comment was left in the context of a fascinating and horrifying conversation in which a dude said that he needed to spank his kids because otherwise how will they learn not to do unsafe things like climbing trees? Now, I'm a non-authoritarian parent. I've got 4 kids, ages 21, 19, 16, and almost 13. We don't punish them at all. I don't believe in the concept of punishment. I don't believe in the concept of obedience, and we definitely don't hit them. Any of us that can reason even a little bit can understand how it doesn't make sense to say, I'm going to hurt you with my body so that you don't hurt yourself on an object or through an experience. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't teach our children anything, and our children just end up getting hurt physically, psychologically, emotionally, potentially spiritually by an authority figure that they are supposed to love and trust and is supposed to keep them safe. And this commenter left a good example of what it looks like to be authoritative without threatening. I don't understand how someone can think, don't climb the tree or I'll hurt you, teaches better than don't climb the tree, you could fall and get hurt. It doesn't make sense. Precisely, but I would take it one step further. So to begin with, I wouldn't tell my kids don't climb the tree. Non-authoritarian parenting looks like this. I would say, hey, I see you climbing the tree. Do you feel safe? Because, we're parenting, we're having a conversation. We're trying to help our kids learn to trust their own bodies and to assess a situation adequately. And then I would say something like, I noticed that you're reaching up to grab that branch that has a diameter that is narrower than your forearm. A branch that small cannot safely hold your weight. So what do you think you should do next? What I want is for my kid to engage in appropriate risk taking so they learn how to assess a situation. They're not going to always have me around to make the choices for them, to tell them what to do. I want them to learn to make their own good choices. I also don't want it to be about my fear and my anxiety. A lot of us as parents can see our kids engaging in risk taking, and it can trigger for us our own fear of our children getting hurt or worse. And we can tend to overreact. And it's very easy to pass that along to our kids and say, oh my gosh, if you do that, you're gonna fall and you're gonna get hurt. I like what this commenter is saying here. You could fall and get hurt. A parent who's teaching their child, and that's what discipline means, to come alongside and teach, will take the time and the energy to guide their kid through the process of assessing how risky the situation is. Okay, hey, let's pause for a second here and take a look. Look how high you are off the ground. Did you know if you fall from a height above 6 feet that there's the potential for you to have a head injury? So how do we want to mitigate that risk and still let you climb the tree? Well, let's learn about what safe climbing procedure is. Okay, not this branch. Okay, have you looked at this way up? Once you get up, what is your path back down? Let's work together to map that out. Hey kiddo, what's your strategy in this situation? Also, what are you going to do if you get up there and you get stuck? Also, what are you going to do if you fall and get hurt and nobody's around? Let's game these situations out so that you know what to do if something happens. Like, this is what parenting is. And I think so many authoritarian parents just can't be bothered to do the work of actual parenting. They want to be lazy. They want a quick response. They don't want to put in the effort, so they hit their kids. Parenting is work. It takes real skills, and it takes wanting to have a relationship with your child to do it well. Relationships take investment. They take commitment. What is the goal of our parenting? Is it to raise children who can function in their own lives, or is it to have them obey? Doing the work of raising kids is not an inconvenience, it's a privilege. And it's worth building the skills to learn how to do it correctly.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Oh, so you're telling me when you get a bad performance review at work, your boss hauls off and hits you? When you display weaponized incompetence and you load the dishwasher wrong on purpose, your wife can slap you upside the head? When you neglect to pick your dirty socks up and put them in the laundry basket, your wife can bend you over her knee and paddle you? When you litter in the park, the ranger can go make you pick a switch? Please tell me under what circumstances in adult life that the consequence for your actions has ever been another adult laying hands on you. I mean, let's set aside police violence and just talk about regular, normal, everyday life. Nothing about hitting your small, minor, defenseless, helpless child sets them up to face adult consequences in the real world. Because adult consequences are not other adults hitting them. If they're late with a deadline at work, their boss doesn't call them into their office and take his belt off. If you're late paying your taxes, the IRS man does not come and paddle you. If you spill your water at the restaurant, the waitress doesn't come over and cuff you.